What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about some good and bad examples of route running, okay? So we're going to be talking about some of the main indicators that you can give a DB that's going to make you lose separation on a route, that's going to let him know you're making a break, and he's going to be all over this route. Then we're going to be talking about some of the key things you can do to be able to create some separation. So I hope this video gives you guys some value, teaches you a few new things about route running and what you can do to make sure a DB doesn't know what we're going to do. But also, fellas, we're offering something new on our website. Is the Ultimate Wide Receiver Training Schedule. So what this training schedule would be a 28-day on-field wide receiver workout plan. So all the specific drills you need to do on the field combined with a 28-day wide receiver gym training program. So it's everything that wide receivers need to do to improve their skills. The 28-day on-field plan, everything's broken down, sets and reps, and we give you an instructional video on the importance of each drill and a full-speed example of each drill. And then in the gym, obviously, everything is in sets, reps, specific splits, conditioning days, and both plans coincide with each other. All the days match up, so you're doing the right things on each day. So very first link in the description, fellas. Hope you guys could check that out. Let's get started. So this receiver does a good job with his release, right? I think we have this guy, but it's just the hugest indicator that you could do at the top of the route, and that's what we're going to be focusing on, okay? So now, again, off the line of scrimmage, he does a good job, right? Like, he's stepping outside of his frame. He's using his body. He's threatening this DB to the inside. I honestly, when I saw this clip for the first time, I thought he was going to punk this DB. I thought this DB was going to shoot way by. I thought he was going to bite on this fade, and then we're going to get separation. Now, when we have an inside breaking route, fellas, like a curl or a stop route, I don't think it's necessary to give this little peek back with your head, right? Now, especially when I peek back, we talked about this a little bit the other day, I want to make sure that I keep my pad level forward and I don't raise my chest straight up in the air, because that's just letting this DB know, hey, I'm doing something, right? Hey, I'm making a break. I'm not running a fade anymore. I'm going to be doing something. That's what's going to make him sit. Everybody's like, oh, the DB ran the route for him. Dude, we just didn't sell this thing enough. If you guys can sell this route, that DB's committed to this break. If I keep that same vertical speed and I keep that same pad level, my eyes stay straight forward, he shoots right by on this thing. So you see how what he does here? He looks back and look what his chest does. Chest pops straight up, feet start getting out in front of him. Right here, we lose all kinds of speed. And if this receiver, if he were to see this, like, this is all constructive, and this is exactly how I would talk to any receiver that I train or any receiver that I break down film for online. It's really all the same, right? So it's all constructive. It's not meant to just offend. I wouldn't say offend, because I know you guys aren't that way, but it's all constructive based, right? So you guys can actually improve, because I know a lot more receivers make these exact same mistakes because they're trying to exaggerate everything, right? So this peek back is not about exaggerating. We don't even need a peek back in this case. You're almost too close off the line. You're only 5 yards downfield. So us peeking back, all that would do on a fade is allow him to overcommit and react. So I would say let's focus on keeping my head down, and let's keep my hips and my shoulders committed so I don't start to slow down my speed. I don't start to slow down my arms. Let's just stay straightforward. Let's just make sure I stay committed straightforward, because if you guys can keep your eyes forward, shoulders and hips straightforward, and your hips or not your hips, but your stride is going straight forward, that gets that DB to commit. That's what makes him think that this is a fade. But you have any kind of indicator of raising your pad level, your feet get out in front of you, you start leaning back, DB's going to be sitting on this thing. And you see how the break is really exaggerated. His chest is straight up in the air. He's sitting on his heels. You guys almost want to think of it like there's a string attached from your chin to your knee, and you're pulling that string down anytime you make a break, anytime you're dropping your hips. Because as soon as you start to get on your heels, you're leaning back. And when you lean back, you don't have any explosion. It's more of like a sit down. It's more of like a sink of your hips than a violent drop of your hips, right? Like, I don't want my hips to drop like that. I want my hips to drop here. I want it to be a sudden drop, but my chin goes to that knee, so I'm in that explosive position. Because this right here, this position, we cannot get to this position. We cannot slow down on a dime at this position. When you guys are running full speed, you guys got to be able to break on a dime. And how we do that is like your whole entire pad level has to drop down. So if you guys don't get to that spot where your chest is going forward, your feet are underneath you, not out in front of you, we're not going to be able to slow down. We're going to be slowing down right before the break, and we're going to be trying to lean back. And that's just going to make this DB slow down. As soon as we start to slow down, watch, he raises that pad level. Look what happens to that DB. He starts to slow his hands down. He starts to slow his feet down because he's expecting a break, and then that is easy money. What you guys got to be able to do is, to this point, where does he start this break? Right here. Pad level should be straightforward. I should be running as hard as I can. I should be giving no indicators on this break. And again, it's not about having speed, right? We talked a little bit about this yesterday. You can be like, not slow, right? You don't want to obviously run like a 5.6 40 or something like that. But if that DB is faster than you, fellas, if you guys can just keep that body language forward and you guys can actually sell vertical and you're going as hard as you can, that will get him to commit. He's not just going to shuffle with you. He's actually going to run on this fake because he does not want to get beat over the top. His goal in man coverage is to obviously not get beat over the top. top. He wants to keep everything in front of him, man coverage. And same with zone coverage. Zone coverage, he's really not supposed to get beat over the top. But in man, nobody likes to get beat. Nobody likes to get beat deep on a fade. Because all the quarterback has to do is just give us a chance, and then we got a shot. So we got to threaten him with that to get him to overcommit. That is the number one thing. So let's watch this thing again full speed. So just make sure when we peek back, fellas, it's not a lean back. If you are going to peek back, your pad level stays forward. You are just glancing over this inside shoulder. On an inside breaking route, I don't think we need to peek back. Let's say he was running a comeback. I would say, yeah, you could peek back for sure, but you got to make sure that we get the 3 key points down first. Eyes straight forward, pad levels committed to the break. You use your hips to stop you, and you're in full stride, full speed going into this break. Okay, let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Again, great job with the release. I love the release. We just can't give this thing away at the top by leaning all the way back. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at this rider from Keenan Allen. Kind of the same route, outside release, a little bit different situation. This DB actually plays it very well, but Keenan Allen is just better on this play, right? So let's watch it full speed. So he does a great job with the release, taking off to the outside, bam, snaps this thing right off, sits right on a dime, right? Like that is, I don't think you understand how challenging that is to do. And if you're a receiver and you could even just get like half of this and you still are able to sell indicator or sell with no indicators and actually get this DB to turn his hips and you have the same drop, you're going to get a ton of space, right? Especially at the high school level, especially at the youth level, even at the college level, fellas. This type of a break, only an NFL DB is going to be able to make a break on this thing, right? In high school, they ain't never seen this kind of stuff before, right? Again, even a talented DB, even the best DB is going to all kinds of schools. If you're a receiver, maybe you don't have those types of offers and you come out to a game and you're just constantly punking this dude who's got offers from here, offers from there. That's great for you. That's how you boost your recruiting profile because you could show that, hey, I can hang with this type of a guy. And these are the types of things that you need to do to be able to hang with those types of DBs, right? So when he comes off here, he does a great job. Like, again, look, he's not throwing a peek back move. He's got his head straight down. He's in straight stride, his hips and his shoulders. Everything about this is fade because we got to get this DB to commit to that fade. I want that DB in full stride, running full speed because, listen, as a receiver, we could be in full stride because we understand the hip drop. As a DB, he's reacting off of us. So it's no different than like you guys running full speed downfield and then somebody yelling drop and then you got to drop your hips. You're not going to be able to make the smoothest break. You're not going to be able to stop right on a dime. You're going to have a little drift. Same thing as a DB. He's reacting off of us. So as soon as he sees me drop my hips, he's got to react. But if I drop my hips quickly, I don't give any indicators, he can't prepare for it. So obviously he's going to be taking more steps. That's as simple as it gets, right? So when I get to that break point, fellas, it's his hips. You see how, where does his chin go? I know it's kind of blurry, but you can kind of make it out right here. You see how his head drops. It's forward. He's not leaning back. His chest is not straight up in the air. He's not on his heels. His feet are underneath him. This is the position where I just stop right here. This is like you're in a ship and you're dropping an anchor. That's what it's like. That's how you want to think of your hips. Your hips drop you down. Your hips slow you down because that's what's going to make that DB shoot by. It's not about slowing your speed. If you drop your hips, it does the exact same thing, except you're going to have a little bit more explosion. You're going to be able to just stop right in the ground. You want to make sure that you get your cleats into that grass as well, and that DB is going to shoot by. You got to make sure, though, fellas, to the last possible second, everything is vertical, okay? There's no indicator. He does not raise his pad level up, and you see this separation is totally fine. This was the separation we could have gotten on the last clip. It's just when you give that indicator right before the break, you start to lean back, your feet get out in front of you, you slow down. That's not going to get you space, fellas. The breaks don't change. I saw this posted somewhere yesterday, and I really liked what this said. The breaks don't change. The routes might be different, right? You might be running a comeback. You might be running a post out. You might be running a curl. You might be running a stop route. The break point usually stays the same. The breaks are pretty similar. The routes change up, right? You're doing different things. You're doing different types of concepts. Every single offense is different, but the breaks stay the same. And you got to make sure that you're trusting your hips getting into this route, not relying on, okay, I'm going to change my speed and then I'm going to drop my hips and give this DB an indicator, give this DB time to stop his feet so he can make a break on this ball. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Is a great example of what to do specifically on a route. This is as good as it gets, fellas. That hip drop, not a lot of people can match that hip drop. And if you guys can get that down, especially being at a younger age, you're going to be very, very tough to guard. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Always appreciate the feedback. It helps me come up with new ideas, so I definitely appreciate it. And again, fellas, Ultimate Wide Receiver Training Schedule. It's a full on-field and gym training program for wide receivers at a discounted price. Everything's broken down in specific sets, repetitions, an instructional video where we break down each aspect of the on-field plan, all the above. You guys don't have to do any thinking. Just follow the plan, and it'll help your guys' game improve on the field. Hope you guys could check that out. Very first link in the description. I'll see you guys next time.